Hi guys, it's Elisa at Moat Cottage, the small space homesteading channel. And today I'm making lavender packs that are great for the microwave to use as heat packs or put in the freezer and then they're ready for an injury. These heat sacks are so relaxing. You heat them up in the microwave if you have a microwave, and then you can put them around your neck. And because the rice is so fine and it's a softer sort of material, it's very relaxing around your neck, and the smell of the lavender is just so calming. These are very similar to the wheat packs you may have used in the past, but these days I like to use rice in my sacks because it's a lot softer and it's a finer material, so it really molds around your neck or an injury, and I just find it's a lot nicer than the wheat, even though the wheat's great. You can also make a pack like this for the freezer, keep it in the freezer, and if someone gets an injury that requires swelling to be reduced, you pop it on there straight away on the injury, and it's a lot nicer than frozen peas. The material I'm using is cotton because it's going to go in the microwave. You don't want to use a synthetic material that can't go in the microwave because it could melt. Also, I like natural fibres. I've given the material a wash in the washing machine to get rid of the excess dye. The material width is 3 feet, and I'm going to fold it in half. I like my packs to end up being about 13 inches, which is about 48 centimetres, and about 19 centimetres wide, which is 5 inches. So I'm cutting this 5.5 inches thick so that there's room for the seams each side. Give your material an iron at this point so that it's easier to sew because it won't have the creases in it. I also give it an iron after I've sewn it, just to make sure it's nice and flat. Have the outside of your fabric on the inside and then fold it in half. Next, I'll sew both long edges, leaving the top end open to fill the sack. I'm using a straight stitch to start with, and then I'll go over it with a zigzag stitch. If you want to do projects like this and you don't have a sewing machine, then check out your opportunity shops or your Goodwill, because you just never know. I picked this one up for $25 at an op shop and it works fine. Of course, it didn't come with instructions, but it's not that hard if you've used a sewing machine before. And I'm no sewing expert. It's not my specialty at all. I've made curtains, cushions and heat sacks. That's pretty much my limit. All straight line things and nothing fancy. You can make these in beautiful fabrics and materials with lovely patterns on them. If you need help getting the corners out when you turn it inside the right way, you could use a wooden spoon to poke up the corners. This one's pretty right. I'll give this another iron before I fill it up. In the mixing bowl, I'm adding in some of the lavender that I dehydrated that came out of my garden. And I'll break it up to make sure that there's no big stems in there. If you don't like lavender, leave this out. Or you could use a different herb. I'm using Basmati rice. You could use Jasmin rice or another long-lasting rice. I wouldn't use brown rice because it's got such a high fat content. It would go rancid quite quickly, and then that would be just awful. Whereas this rice lasts quite a few years. Add in about 20 to 30 drops of pure essential lavender oil or whatever essential oil goes with the herbs that you're using. If this pack was being used by a young child, I probably wouldn't put the pure essential oil in it. Whatever essential oil you use, make sure you do your research on it because it's not always suitable for whoever's using the pack. For example, pregnant women can't use all essential oils, and same with young children, and also people who have different allergies, and you've just got to be careful, so do your research. I find lavender quite safe for most people, so everyone in my household's able to use lavender, so that's what my heat sacks are. Give this a good mix in. I'm going to smell nice for the rest of the day. I'm using a canning funnel to fill this up. If you've never used a canning funnel before, you'll wonder how you ever lived without it. I use them to fill up all my jars, and then in projects like this, as well as for canning. Fill your sack to about 2/3 full. That way, when it's sewn up, it will give it space to be able to bend and to wrap around your neck or your injury or wherever you need to put it. If you have it too full, then you won't be able to maneuver it how you want to. Now that looks pretty good. And then sew the end up so that the rice stays in. Give it a couple of passes over with the sewing machine so that it makes it a nice secure edge and the rice won't come out. If my finishing edge was wider, so if I was making a square pack, I would sew the majority of it inside out with the rest of the sides and then just finish up a small section this way. That's great. So let's see, so there we go. So that's nice and secure. When you're putting it in the microwave, wrap it around like a half circle so that it doesn't touch any of the sides, and then pop in a cup of cold water just to sit in the microwave like that. I usually cook mine for about 2.5 minutes, but of course every microwave is different. So cook it for probably 1.5 minutes and then start checking it every 30 seconds to 20 seconds, depending on how ready you think it is. Once you think it's hot enough, pull it out of the microwave and mix up your grains so that it's more in even temperature. And check that it's not too hot, especially if you're giving it to a young child or an elderly person. You don't want to burn anybody. If you'd like to see more projects like this, or to see what else we're doing on our small space homestead, then make sure you subscribe if you haven't subscribed already, and hit the bell so that you can be updated when a new video comes out. This one's heated up and ready to use. I'm feeling more zen already. Now all I need is some bone broth in this cup and I'll be set. If you have any questions or comments, make sure you leave them below and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. I'll leave the information in the description below with all the ingredients and tools that we used for this project. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.